Hello, I welcome you to this session of Python programming. In today's session, we are going to discuss the basics of Python programming. Well, in our previous sessions, we have discussed about how to execute the Python programs from command line and ideally, and how the Python programs are actually executed. We discussed the concept of bytecode and the Python virtual machine. And then we also learned about the various Python implementations such as CPython, Jython, RNPython, Stackless, and PyPy. And in today's session, we'll be discussing about the basics. So let me begin by discussing how you can give comments in Python. And then we'll be discussing about the various Python tokens, that is keywords, identifiers, operators, delimiters, literals. Uh, Literals are of various types: integers, float, character, string, and how we can actually use these literals. Then keywords, as in any other language that you guys have learned, like C, C++, Java. Uh, Python also has got a set of its own keywords. So elif is there, else is there, if, for, while, and there's a long list of keywords which you can always learn once you start learning Python programming. Then the delimiters are the curly braces, the parentheses, and the square brackets. Okay, so identifier is the combination of letters, digits, and underscores. So identifier is the name given to your variables, to your classes, to your functions, and so on. So in Python, identifier is a combination of letters, digits, and underscore. That means you can combine letters, digits, and underscores to name your variables. And there is no restriction on the length of the variables. Like in C, we had a restriction that the maximum length of an identifier could be 31 characters. But here, there is no restriction on length. The only restriction is that it starts with either a letter or an underscore, and it should not be a keyword. So your identifier or variable name must begin with either a letter or an underscore, preferably with a letter, because underscore is used for system variables or system functions. So it's better to start using your identifiers beginning with a letter. And obviously it cannot be a keyword. That means you cannot take an identifier name as elif or else. And comments in Python can either be given using a hash, which would mean a single line comment, and multiple line comments can be issued by using triple quotes. That is, the comment would begin with a triple quote and the comment would end with a triple quote. So let me just revert back to our Python ideally, and let me open up a program for you guys. I'll open a program which I just wrote with the name as Z2. So you can see I have given a multiple line comment beginning with 3 triple quotes, as you can see, and ending with 3 triple quotes. So this is treated as a comment. When you execute this program, this is not taken into consideration. So when I run this program, it will simply print hello. So I'll execute this program and it prints hello. That means that whatever was written in triple quotes was treated as a comment. I can also give a comment with a hash. So I can write a comment here. So this is a single line comment, begins with a hash. So again, the output would remain as same. All right. So let's now continue further from here. Uh, whenever you go to, when you start to learn a programming language, the very first thing is that you would wish to write a few programs so that you are comfortable with the basics of the language. So as I discussed in one of my previous videos, that there is an input statement and there is a print statement. So which are equivalent to your scanf and printf of C, or C in and C out of C++, and so on. So input statement is used to input something into your Python program, and a print statement is used to print something. And if you want, after printing, the cursor moves to the next line. If you want to keep the cursor in the same line, you can take the help of the end statement. I will see it in examples. And assignment statements, like in any other language, an equal to is used for assignment, like a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7. You can have multiple assignments also, that is b is equal to c is equal to d is equal to 34, would mean that 34 is assigned to all b, c, and d. Then we'll also be discussing about the eval function and its usage. So let me now switch to the Python IDLE, and let me write one first program for you. Say okay, so let this be a comment, first program in Python. And here I can use the input statement like this. So you can use like this, and then you can simply print A. Okay. So in this, what I'm trying to do is I'm inputting something from the user, storing it in the variable A, and then I'm printing the variable A. See the usage of the input and the print statements here. So let me just run this code for you now. Let's save it with the name as PR1. Or we can store it as PR11. Okay. So the input statement is waiting for us to input something. So let me input here. Okay, so the same thing is printed here. So when we reach here the input statement, the Python environment waits for us to input a value. Whatever value is stored here is whatever value is inputted is stored in the variable A. And when I print A, the value of A is printed, as you can see here. Now let me just modify this print statement for you, in which I can write so I can just do like this. I can combine the message and the variable name with the help of a comma. Okay. So if I run it now, obviously, if I give say if I give the value as 75, so the value of the variable is 75. The interesting thing here is that I'm not mentioning any data type like you did in C, C++, int, float, char. I'm not mentioning a data type. So that means Python is intelligent enough to pick up the data type on its own. Okay, so what if I try to do something like this? Okay, and then if I try to print B, what do you think would be the output now? I'll input the value of A, and let's suppose I'll input say 10. So would B be 55? Let's check it. So I input the value of A as 10. So the value of variable A is 10. Till this point the program is okay. Okay. And when you try to add A and 45, it is telling you that it cannot concatenate with an int to a string. That means whatever we are inputting from the keyboard is coming in the shape of a string by default. Okay. Now it's up to us to convert it into something else for our working. So what I can do here is I can just convert it to an int. I can convert A, which is a string by default, into an int so that I can use it as a int. The value I can use as an int. So as you can see, the value has come now as 55. So this is one way of changing the data type which you get, like the variable which you get from an input, because input would always input the value from the user from the keyboard in the shape of a string. So to use it in different ways, you can take the help of the converters. For example, if I needed to convert it into float, so what I can do is I can convert it into float, and maybe I can write something like this. Okay, so now if I run it and say give the value of A as 10.5, you can see the answer has come now. So this is one way of changing the type of your variable. So Python by default doesn't stress too much on defining data types. Although the data types are there, you can see int is there, float is there, string is there, but it is not very particular about you mentioning those data types in your programs. Now another way of doing this thing is to use an intelligent function known as eval. So just see how we can use the eval function. Now look very carefully for this. I'll just change this here. I'll write here b is equal to a plus 10. Okay. Then I'll print the value of b. Okay. So what do you think would happen now? Once I input the value, I said that input statement is always taking the input as a string. So what happens here is that eval would see the value and would act accordingly. So let me run this program for you. Now let me add the value as say 20. So it has added 10 and 20. That means eval has automatically converted the value that you inputted into an integer. Okay. So let me now run this program again. Okay, and input the value of a as 22.5. Okay, so now the answer is 32.5. So if you give an integer value, eval converts it into an integer. If you enter a floating value, then eval would convert it into a float, and so on. So what if I need to give it as a string? Okay, so let's say I would make this as a comment, and I would just print a here. I'll input a and I'll print a. Okay, but I would now like to give it as a string. So shall I give it like this? Will it work? Yes or no? No, it won't work because it does not understand what you have inputted. To input a string, you need to input it either in single quotes or in double quotes. So if you input like this, then it will automatically convert this. It will take it as a string and will print the value. So I hope that this discussion about the eval function is clear to you. So eval function we have seen here, that eval function automatically converts the output to the type of output that you've inputted. So no need to go in for your own conversion. Eval will automatically take care of it. So that's all for today's video, and in my next video I'll be discussing about the formatting of numbers with you and certain inbuilt functions in Python. And then I'll be discussing a few modules. I'll first discuss with you what is a module, and then I'll discuss a few modules that are available to you in Python. And as we discussed in our preliminaries, that there is a vast library, support library, which contains hundreds and thousands of modules which you can use for your own work. So that's all guys for this video. Keep on watching all these videos in a series, and I'll come up with more content in my next video. Thank you.